The following podcast may be explicit. Shedcast presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Welcome back to our Dungeon World campaign, Perils of Parandisi. In this episode, our heroes find their way to an underground complex and further into the mysteries of the forgotten god Hisara. Pull up a chair, join the game, and enjoy the podcast.
Sign up.
Hi, and welcome back to The Shed for Adventures from the Shed. Of course, you can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com, on Twitter and Facebook, and we have a Google community. We have a YouTube channel with a few videos out there. Go and find us. We're continuing our Dungeon World campaign, The Perils of Parandisi. We're going to go around the table and say hi and say the characters we're playing. We'll start over with Mickie.
Hi, everyone. This is Mickie, and I am playing Demaya. She's the thief of the group thus far.
Thus far, I don't think anyone's going to be thieving in. Anyways, JJ here playing Strong Dawn, and I'm going to pass it on over to...
I still think that my character probably heard your name as Strong Dong.
Silver.
It could be.
I am Chris. I'm a guest here, and I appreciate the invite. I am playing Aglinor the Bard, who's pretty awesome.
Hey, this is Kurt. I am playing Shadrock the Druid Shape-Shifting Machine.
Ooh. And I am playing Snickle Fritz Bombus.
And
Mike Robertson.
There we go.
You gotta talk to your adoring fans, man.
He needs no introduction.
Give him what they want.
America's sweetheart.
He's not exactly the best wizard so far, but he's learning things. Maybe he'll be helpful this time.
That's just how Fritzy rolls.
And I am Joe. I am the game master for this Dungeon World game. And to give a quick recap of where we left off our last session, Kurt's going to fill us in on the highlights.
Absolutely. So the highlights, or perhaps I should say low light to start, involved Fritzy, Mike Robertson, rolling back-to-back snake eyes and a bunch of horrible things that destroyed his effectiveness for most of the battle. Fortunately, Shadrock the Druid picked up the slack by distracting one of the dwarf. There was three dwarves controlling an army of 8 undead animals. We were able to distract the dwarves, which ruined the formation of the animals so that Strong Dawn the Barbarian could wreak havoc with his great axe. Shadrock was able to hack and slash with his bite and with his fist to destroy the animals and dwarves. And meanwhile, Demaya, the beautiful and stealthy thief, sneaked behind enemy lines and did major damage to the 2 other dwarves.
What it is, dwarves.
Where we ended with the mighty battle of rolling barrels, flying fists from the barbarian, slashes from the bear, and at the end, Fritzy, impotent Fritzy, was able to come out on top.
They sell a pill for that.
No, he was able to redeem himself and rise up.
Poor Fritz.
He was able to rise up.
As long as it doesn't last 4 hours, he's okay.
He is okay. But at the end of the day, he had the one standing remaining dwarf for us to presumably interrogate, and that's where I think we're going to begin.
Charmed him with a facepalm.
Facepalm. You really like me. Trust me.
Yes.
So, Fritzy, what are you going to do with Mr. Dwarf who is smiling at you and...
I'm going to walk him back toward the...
It's kind of Zoidberg-ish, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to walk him back toward the wagon.
Okay.
And I'm going to say to him, like, hey, the guys would be a lot more comfortable with you. They know you're big, powerful guy. That if you could just put this rope around your hands and sort of talk him into... thinking that getting it wrapped up is a good idea.
Does that use one of your adventuring gear?
Probably, if I had it.
I'm just because the spell says it. It says it's a friend until you prove otherwise. Do friends tie up friends?
Well,
not without a safe word.
I was explaining it to him that
safe word
the
is
other guy.
banana.
I'm looking out for
he's looking at. Are you holding the rope?
I'm looking out for his
so
well-being.
He's got his head cocked at you, going. Blah, 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 blah.
The safe word is blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah.
Oh, I could roll to see if I can understand him.
Okay. So you may have heard this dialect or something somewhere before, and let's see if
I'm
you
very
pick up
smart.
on it. There we go. That's a spout lore.
Not Spartan enough.
I saw the 1. I thought the other one was going to be a 1.
It's an 8.
Okay.
8's sort of good.
So what you can tell is it's kind of like you had one semester of this language in high school, and you think
That's
he's
not
talking
good.
about having a big yellow pencil, but you're not positive. But there are enough words in there that you can make out the thes and the and the I and the you, but you can't make full sentences out of the words he's saying. But you can see, you make some intuition based. He's pointing at himself, and you hear the word in there for I, and he's pointing at her, and you hear the word in there for boobs. The things that you would remember from a semester of this language in school.
Can I tell if it's actually Dwarvish?
It sounds like some sort of. This was during your class of ancient ceremonial languages. It is not a. It is not a language that came about as a natural progression. It was words put together for a specific purpose in some ancient ceremonies.
Okay. Well, the other dwarf said that he knew him.
Yeah.
Is he friendly to everyone or just
Specifically,
Fritzy?
He's a friend of Fritzy, but unless somebody messes with him, he's not going to be hostile towards anyone else.
No, because I'm thinking I still have. Well, never
I
mind.
think we should see if Boren can communicate with him, which he may or may not be
Put
able
your
to.
mic a little closer, I think, Kurt.
We should see if Boren can talk to him, which he may or may not be able to do. And if he can't, I would ask Alganor, given that he may be 4 centuries old and he's been around the block a few times, to see whether he can communicate with him.
I'll go get
The L
Alganor.
is after the G.
I'll go get him. I don't know where he is. I'll find him.
What did I say this time, Alganor?
See, now it's right in front of your mouth. Put it to the side. There we go. We'll get Kurt back in like that.
Alganor. It's my name. Alganor.
I want to. If anybody wants to do this, take your cell phone and take pictures of people with the name tags to show that Kurt just can't read.
2 Harvard degrees and I cannot read one word.
You do have your Transformers shirt on. There were some horrible movies.
Yeah. Oh no, this is old school. This
Well,
has nothing
yeah.
to do with the movies.
They don't link at all. So the Borden, when he pokes his head back out and he hears you talking with this other dwarf, he says, "I know that guy. That's Sirkin. Sirkin, what are you talking about?" He clearly can't understand what he's trying to communicate with the dwarf. Like, what are you saying? I mean, what are you doing here? And
Gee whiz.
and they're clearly on 2 completely different wavelengths.
All right.
So he didn't talk like this back when you knew him.
No, he was part of the Hack Shield Company, and he's been gone for like 6 months. The most annoying dwarf ever.
It's time for Aglanor.
There it is.
Because Aglanor knows a lot of ceremonial languages, I would bet.
Oh,
We'll see. We'll see.
All right, so what is it, Kurt, damn it, Chris, what is it you are rolling before you do it?
I have Bardic lore, and I have grand histories of the known world.
You just cut out.
I
Yeah.
did. Of the
Yeah, he's
grand
back.
histories
There
of the
we
known
go.
world.
All right, so because the one reason I wanted to stop you is there is no roll for this.
Okay.
So when you first encounter an important creature, location, or item covered by your bardic lore, you ask me any one question about it, and I give you an answer.
I
I have
don't.
to even be truthful.
I don't guess the question I can ask is what the hell is he saying? Or how about this? How about instead of that? Because
I would say
that's gamey.
Answering truthfully would be you don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of
The question I want to ask is, where do I recognize this language from?
Okay.
Like what part of history? What type of people? What's the context around this language?
Mike, would Fritzy have mentioned that he heard of it or has heard something like it before, and it was some kind of old ceremonial thing?
Yeah, I imagine in the telling them maybe incorrectly what their guy is saying that I'd be like, yeah, I totally know this. I studied it back in school.
Hey, baby.
I used it to pick up a chick
But you know what
once
I'm
when I was
saying?
19.
You might tell me that it's old and ceremonial, but I might be able to put a little more context of that to say, well, oh, these are the people that spoke that language. These are the types of ceremonies they did.
Hisara. This was part of a language developed by followers of Hisara, the old forgotten god.
Okay.
Apparently not so forgotten anymore, right? And this language was used in both raising and controlling dead things.
Ah.
The ceremonies used to create the animated beings as well as control them once they were animated. This was a language developed for that.
Well, then I would also like to see if I can actually understand what he's saying.
No.
Okay.
There isn't enough. It's the same kind of thing. You can pick up a word here or there, but whereas Fritzy can kind of make out where a sentence starts and ends, you've just got random words throughout. Now, what I would say is based on just knowing that, you don't know it, but I'm trying to think. You don't carry around like a book or anything like that, right?
No.
Just thinking of ways that we could play that out. But,
if it makes sense.
Did you take the bag of books, Fritzy?
No, I did not.
I'd like to. We're still at nighttime?
Yes. Right now, it would probably be midnight to 1-ish.
I guess I'd like to, while everyone else figures out what they want to do, kind of just sneak off like I do, transform into my owl, and see if I can track where they came from, and just not go very far, but maybe up to a mile or two, and see if the tracks where they came from lead to anything that I find to be interesting.
I need my dagger back first.
Oh, yeah.
It probably falls out when he transforms.
Just saying.
For that purpose, you can find your dagger.
Fantastic.
Okay.
So I've got my 3 daggers back.
So I need to roll, right?
What I'm looking for, it sounds like you said you wanted to track.
Well, what I'm thinking is the moment, we're not going anywhere with the interrogation, so what else might be helpful? Knowing where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
So although
what I'm looking for is when you're transforming into the animal, what animal is it and why? And that's going to be the holds, right?
It's the same owl I've been being tonight, because good night vision can go anywhere.
Although you could also change it up a little and be like a bloodhound and follow their scent back. I don't know.
Well, I guess they're domesticated.
Domestic, yeah.
I can't. It'd be slower. I'm thinking I want to do this quickly because I don't want to.
I'm not sure bloodhound necessarily needed giving the decaying flesh. We could probably barter ourselves.
Well, I was figuring also, while we can't understand this guy, he does do hand motions and stuff. So I could probably talk him into leading us back to his camp or something.
Okay. So let's let Shadrach take flight or start sniffing whatever it is he's going to do. What is your?
I like the suggestion of the bloodhound, but for this because I want to be quick. I don't want this to take forever. I just want to do a quick out and back as an owl.
Okay.
8 + 2, 10.
God, what is wrong with you? Can't you fail anything?
That's good.
So you've got it. You got 3 holds. Yeah. We're going to use one of them up right away.
Okay.
So in that point, you're going to see where they were, and you clearly establish a trail, and you can start following it. And while you do that, while you start following the trail, let's see what other people are up to. Aglanor, you've kind of tried to figure out what's going on with the language. You've kind of figured out where that piece comes from. I know Demaya found her dagger. She has replenished her throwing daggers. Is she up to anything else?
Yeah, she also needs to replenish her poison stash. And according to this, it says, whenever I have time to gather materials in a safe place to brew, I can make 3 uses of the potion that I choose for free. So can I do that here?
What I would say is you'll be able to gather materials given enough time in nature. But when we reach a place where you can brew it, then you can turn it into the poison. So that's you'll have half of it done.
Yeah, she's kind of like keeping like one eye on what's going on in the center, but she's like walking around making sure she gets her daggers back. She cleans up after eviscerating that last lion and gathers her materials.
The camp doesn't smell none too fresh either, especially since Pine's all full.
Well, I'm a lady.
Strong Dawn, anything?
I am going to wrestle the barrel back into the wagon.
Good idea. Well done.
And wonder why we aren't moving on to the city of Kingsbury to deliver these.
It's still the middle of the night. You should be sleeping.
Okay, fair enough.
Can I recover any arrows?
Yes.
Okay. How many? All? 1?
You lost 1 ammo.
I lost 2.
You lost 2, so 1. Okay. I'll let you take 1 back. Because of the mess that ensued, I can easily see arrows being snapped and lost in the middle of the night. So we'll get 1 ammo back. And from there, Fritzy hanging out with the dwarf more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just hanging, doing sign language, loving it.
And Borden is not giving up. He thinks certainly there's something he can do to fix Sirkin, who isn't a hack shield, by the way. He's another Gene Eric kind of guy.
I want to know. I want to do a name search now. See how many Gene Erics there are out there.
But Gene himself, he actually has to move out of the way for you to put the barrel back on the wagon because he's just kind of hiding. Is not all that. I believe he soiled himself.
Can we kill this guy?
Well, which one? The
Kill
whiny
this
one
guy.
or the fraidy one?
The whiny guy.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I thought whiny guy was the one that pissed himself. I was like, that's the last straw.
So Shadrock, the trail leads to a hole in the side of a hill with what would be about a half a mile away from your camp. And plenty off the road.
Off the road aplenty.
Yeah.
Okay.
That means it has onions and stuff on it.
Yeah, it's cheese. You know, it's really
It's aplenty.
It's great.
So rather than going in there by myself, at that point I would fly back to the group and tell them that it appears that the undead horde originated in a hole in a cave of some kind and that perhaps we might find additional information there.
Okay. So at that point, you'll go back to human?
Yes.
All right. So you drop the rest of the hold and do that. Now, one thing I did want to mention, as far as the druid goes, it may seem like sometimes you're turning into something and then you don't use up all the holds. I don't want you to think of it as a waste because no one else could have done what you just did.
Right.
So you're still doing that really cool thing. But sometimes you run out of the hold at the bad time.
Right.
Like charging through army of skeletons as a rhinoceros and you run out of hold. That's
With
kind of
George
bad.
Washington on my
Yes,
back.
with George Washington riding your back, yes.
That was a good day.
Yeah, that was a good day.
But when that hold runs out at that point in time, so Shadrach arrives back into camp and informs everybody. And what is the next step from there? So I'll say too, it's the middle of the night still, and when you look at the make camp move. Part of that is recovering hit points, and I think that might be important now.
Ooh, that would be helpful for the shady. Because I'm down it.
You're down.
You recover all of them when you make camp?
No, sir.
You get half of your max.
You get half of your max, or you get half
You
of your
get half of your max.
So do I like meditate or something?
It's one of your starting moves. I forget the name of it now. It's a wizard starting move for memorizing your spells or whatever it's called.
Okay.
You'll have to look at the front of the sheet because now I can't remember, and it's going to kill me. Prepare
spells.
That's
Are
the
you
one.
still down at all? Kurt?
Let's see. I'm going to get back 9. I'm at 17 out of 19.
Okay.
That's not bad.
Good.
Pretty good? Yeah. You might not want to risk a flute
Yeah.
playing at this point.
No, I'm good.
I'm not risking.
So if we're
Although you
making
can play your
camp
flute
again,
anytime you
Yeah,
want.
I mean,
can I
this
level
is the
up?
appropriate venue.
So with that, yes, as long as you're already prepared with what you're doing next.
Mm-hmm.
And we can talk about that either next time or later on this time, depending on what we have. But the wizard, Fritzy, has had enough experience because of his awesome rollage that he is able to level up as part of making camp. Everyone else is just going to heal up. And then we're going to say that it is the morning.
And for those of you listening, sorry to interrupt, but at home, when Joe said awesome rollage, he means sucky rollage.
Yeah.
Because if you
Joe
haven't
was
played this
being
game,
facetious.
the way you get XP is by failing your rolls.
Oh, yeah.
In large part.
Well, you learn from your mistakes.
But I'm
That's right.
failing well.
You have failed a lot.
But you fail with style.
Failing forward.
All right. So
What spell are you picking up?
I'm going to pick up Fireball.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
And in doing so, I take this advanced move of Prodigy, which I choose a spell and prepare that as if it was one level lower. So I can take Fireball and Magic Missile and then have 2 offensive spells.
Nice.
Because
Although
Fireball
I'll
is
have
a
to drop
3rd level
Charm.
spell that he normally couldn't cast at 2nd level, but the Prodigy move allows him to do that.
How does leveling up work in this game?
So you have enough experience to level.
What's
you look
enough
at,
experience?
It's your current level plus 7.
Okay.
And then you look at the back of your sheet, and you'll see you have advanced moves, and you pick from the left-hand side usually, between levels 2 and 5, you pick one from there each time.
Okay.
And it's something that makes you a little extra awesome. And in addition to that, you add 1 point to any one stat.
Which I'm going to do Charisma,
Okay.
since I just got rid of charm person, maybe I can charm them with my charisma.
Wait, why did you lose charm person?
Because
he's not going to memorize it.
When you're picking spells, you can pick your level +1 as far as points go. So I did Fireball, which is a level 3 spell, with Prodigy makes it a level 2, and then I have one more spell point, so I can do a first level spell, which I did Magic Missile, even though it's not really helping too much. It helps when it actually hits.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
Well, Magic Missile would be doing great if you hit with it. Right?
Yeah.
1 away from leveling, because I have 7.
All right. So we'll say the next morning comes, Fritzy unearths a new page in his spell book that he wasn't yet aware of, or wasn't quite able to read. Maybe some runes were kind of fuzzy. Let's put it this way: how did you handle the babbling dwarf before everyone went to take a nap?
Well, he's tied up still, so we're just.
Well, he wasn't looking to be tied up. He would have to be tied up. He wasn't agreeing to that.
Wouldn't we have just dispatched
I didn't buy everyone saying that you could tie your friends up.
Couldn't you just?
I thought that we had said that I had talked him into being that it was a good idea for.
Well, you said it, but I said, who ties their friends up? Mm. And everyone else said, yes, we do, but
just
I didn't.
Take a nap.
Well, you asked.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we? I mean, this is kind of a liability. Wouldn't we have just dispatched with him?
Well, I mean, he could lead us back to there.
He could.
Although
I already know where that is.
If that's indeed where he would lead you.
True. Good point. Oh.
So the question remains: would you tie him up? Would somebody tie him up? But does he become an adversary?
It seems like he's not evil.
Right.
I mean, if our buddy Borden knows him, it seems like he just might be under a spell and he might be being used by someone.
Right.
So we don't necessarily, I mean, if you kill him, you're kind of.
That's why I think
kind of douchey.
Check out the cave.
The only thing is, if we knock him out, or if we do anything like tie him up that he doesn't want to do, I've stopped preparing Charm Person, so I can't charm him again.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I would think that if we do something...
actually, I would think as a technicality, when you go to prepare your spells, that ongoing spell would drop. You wouldn't maintain the...
So we just
tie his ass up.
So
let's do it.
He needs to be subdued or dispatched.
And when he goes to sleep, throw a net over his ass.
We'll tie him up and throw him in the back of the wagon.
Yeah.
So now we've got a mumbling dwarf.
But we're not trying to be adversarial or hostile. We're just going to be chill.
Mm-hmm.
But we have absolutely no idea, the nature of...
I'm going to transform into a bunny rabbit and crawl up into his lap and be really sweet and affectionate so that he doesn't feel threatened.
Then he's going to wring that bunny's neck.
He goes, bunny.
Bunny, pet the rabbits.
Pet the rabbit.
But, rabbit. What if it's some sort of, telepathic mind control?
What if?
And we now have this enemy with us.
Hey.
What?
You're giving the DM ideas.
All right, I'll shut up then. Fine.
I didn't even hear what she said. Telepathic.
Then we'll kill him.
Well, I mean, if we leave him alive and then go take care of the thing that's telepathically mind controlling him, then he'll be back to normal. So,
but that's I mean, there's a lot of what ifs.
So you could just
my vote is not kill him.
Put an ice pick through his temple. And
that'll break any mind control.
There's no real impending danger. Are we sure we don't just want to hop on a boat and go to the Frazzled Pony for some fun? Frazzled Mermaid?
Either way. You could ride a pony to the Frazzled
I had a good time there with Fritzy.
You could be the pony we ride to the Frazzled Mermaid.
The Frazzled Mermaid. I misspoke.
I don't know. I think we should definitely check out this cave.
All right.
I agree.
So that's our next step.
Okay, so we tied up.
He was tied up and put in the back of the wagon.
He's in the wagon.
And he's mumbling.
F him. Let's go.
Where'd the bunny go?
The cave is not far because I did
it's
not
about
fly
half a mile as the owl flies.
Right. I'm wondering, should we send on the thing now that we took care of the...
You want to try it?
Send on the wagon?
I don't want to send on the wagon with this guy.
You don't want to leave him with... here in the middle of the woods.
Because he's still dangerous. I mean, he can obviously raise and control dead things.
You're not going to leave me unprotected.
Yes, okay, don't worry about what he said. Because, yes, we might.
You guys were sent to keep us safe.
No,
we were
sent to trigger an ambush, which we did.
I don't know if
I'm going to get that
if they
Thargus
are coming
bastard.
from this cave, though. Leaving them here next to that cave might be more dangerous than sending them on.
So are we back to the dwarf again? Do we just kill him?
Do we just tie up all the dwarfs and leave them on the
fine. I think he's fine as long as he's tied up.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't want other things to come out of the cave and take this wagon.
So send them on.
Okay.
So you're going to send the wagon on with an
Yeah.
adversarial dwarf in there?
Yes.
Okay. Now with that,
That's what's happening.
If that's the intent, I want somebody who said they were tying up the dwarf to make a roll so I can see how good the dwarf was tied.
That would be Mickie.
If you're going to tie
I wanted
a
to
special knot,
dispatch the dwarf.
She's not in. So it's a dex.
if you're looking at doing something like tying up a special knot or something, if you just want to cinch the rope as hard as you can, that would be strength.
That's what I was thinking. Is
Shibari
I'd get the big dude to do it. Just tie that shit.
Tie that shit, dog.
So who's rolling?
So let's do, depending on what you're doing, it's going to be a defy danger roll because there's a danger of this dwarf getting free.
Yep.
And you're going to defy that. But how are you tying him up that then triggers the roll?
I'm going to stomp on one end of the rope and yank with the other end as tight as I can.
His hand should be purple by the time you're
Growing
done.
pretty
Okay.
much.
All right, let's try it. That's strength. Like, I'm going to tie a quadruple sheep shank.
That's good.
10.
10. His hands are purple by the time you're done. Okay. That just gives me an idea of how long he may be bound, which apparently until his hands are...
Until his hands fall off.
Okay, and Borden will object to being left behind, as he already has. But if you guys walk off, he doesn't really have a choice. So how are
Borden, now is the time for us all to be brave. You have to do your part. We have to do ours. Godspeed. And then I'll turn to Fritzy and say, do you know someone that can kill him further up the road? Come on, you know people. I know you do.
So you hear from behind you, Borden's just cursing, like, "Damn you! I'm just going back to the monastery. The hell with this." And he turns the wagon around on the road and starts.
That's your decision. I'm not the one whose money you're.
Tell me your decision.
Wrestle.
That's fine. Let's get to the cave.
Turn into a wolf and eat him. Further down, though. Go down a little bit.
You know,
I am a little hungry.
dwarf meat's kind of stringy.
I'm sustained off of nature.
Dwarves are
Dwarves are
natural.
natural.
Okay, so you head off to find the cave. You know where, Shadrock knows where it is. You follow where you know the trail led, and the opening is kind of, think like Hobbit hole without the door. It is a hill covered in grass, and there's trees around as well, but there's just a hole in the side of that hill, and it looks like it goes in and then down out of sight. It's a dark opening.
We're approaching stealthily, I assume, correct?
Correct.
I didn't assume it, but go ahead and say it.
Sure.
Are we approaching stealthily?
That would involve kind of a group thing if you want.
I'm thinking if we want to do anything stealthily, that you should be the one doing it by yourself.
My point is, I think I can get in there, recon, and come back without being seen.
Yeah.
Yes.
If we all try to do it, no, we are not approaching stealthily.
If you want me to, I can turn into a mouse and go with you. Because mice are pretty stealthy.
I don't know. We're all fairly stealthy.
It depends on what you mean by that.
Okay, so here's my goal.
Right? So there's a difference between kind of sneaking around and being really stealthy. Like, for example, when Kurt said that Shady could turn into a mouse, that's a natural thing. That maybe if they see a mouse, they might try to stomp on it, but they don't think they're being invaded by the druid and an adventuring party. And the thief, naturally, you think, is able to slink around in the shadows. But when I think of a barbarian or a bard or a wizard being sneaky, all it really is don't look at me, don't look at me, don't look at me. Right? It's you don't have that natural instinct to hide in a corner.
I call Rambo.
I can follow you in there, and on my play, dung, 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 dung.
Because I mean, it's a hill, right? If I'm picturing this properly, it's a small hill, cave opening. I think it would be pretty easy for me to get in there, look around, see how many people are in there, and then come back and report.
Yes.
All right, that's what I want to do. And
want some backup?
Shagtastic's coming with me.
Heck yes, I am, because I rolled another 11.
Good gosh,
9
man.
plus 2.
What is that, a dex roll?
Yes, for you it's going to be a dexterity. She caught the 5.
I get 3 holds as a mouse, right?
So I rolled an 8.
Okay. All right, so what we're going to have now is you guys sneaking into this cave, this hole in the side of the hill. As you go in and they kind of, from the outside, you guys see them go in and they kind of go out of sight. It gets very dark. So, I don't know, mouse doesn't really have any special dark kind of vision thingy. So it's very dark, shadowy, even with some reflective light from the outside.
Attack the darkness.
You get about 30 feet in, and you realize you've gotten onto floor that's been like flagstone. There's pieces on the floor, and you feel that under your padded feet. And Demaya, I can't remember that damn name. Demaya.
No, he just like
you feel the change in the floor, and as you're going along the wall, you feel this wall is cut very smooth. So this is definitely a man-made structure you're heading into. But there, right from where you guys reach, you can no longer see ahead of you. All you can see is the vague shadows behind you. It's just complete darkness ahead. That's up to you if you proceed further.
Should we proceed further? Do I have any way of communicating with you while you're a mouse?
Here's a druid question. I've asked this of each druid that's played. Are you still able to talk when you're in druid form? Your choice.
I am able to. Well, I mean, I should say yes, but realistically, no. I can understand English or human, but I can't speak it back while I'm an animal.
Okay.
And it's too dark for hand signals?
What if you were a parrot?
So one diseased bite for yes, 2 diseased bites for no.
Yeah, like would we have established, like, scratch once,
Well,
yes?
for example, you could simply say, keep your hand on the left wall, and I would understand that, and I would walk along the left wall.
Okay.
But if something happened, I would not be able to communicate back to you.
Okay.
I think the smart thing would be to go back and get someone with a torch.
You're communicating
but I can't communicate that, so that's metagaming.
Yeah.
Squeak, 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 squeak.
Squeak, squeak, squeak,
Squiggity squeak,
Squeak, squeakers, squeakums.
Now, if you spoke mouse...
I would totally understand. All right, so this
now,
is...
was that just stupid? Should I have just said, yeah, I can communicate
I
while I'm
like
an
the
animal?
way. I like the way.
I said the same thing when
It's
I played
funny
Dwarf.
to me that each person that plays a druid handles it a little different. I had one person that wanted to play it that she could only speak animal when she was in human form and would only speak human when she was in an animal form.
Oh, that's bizarre.
Yeah, and it seems like the people who pick the druids are the weird ones.
Now, I can understand English, and I can communicate back, but it would be in the sounds of the animal that I am.
Okay, so we've gotten in there. There's not really much I can tell. I can't hear anything.
You can tell that it went from like a natural opening that somebody may have just cut with a shovel, or it may have even been there on its own with little bits of moss and stuff hanging down, to where you are clearly now in a man-made tunnel.
All right, so in the interest of self-preservation, I'd be like, Druid, let's go back and get the rest of the party.
Yeah. And you got about 50 feet in.
And I go,
And as you're walking out, you hear the 3 of us going, pusser, pusser, pusser.
But I live to thief another day.
All right. So you come back out, and
So we go back to the party and say, this is definitely a man-made structure. We couldn't really tell anything, so that was kind of fruitless. But we need to figure out what we're going to do next.
I have a torch in my adventuring gear.
I have light as a cantrip.
He has light as a cantrip.
and he gets to roll to cast it.
Yeah.
So are we going to go in, like, balls
you have
out
to roll to
and
cast
just go?
cantrips?
Any spell.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he has free light all
We
the
need
time.
light. I mean,
Yeah, all right. Let's do this.
unless you want it, well,
All right. This little light of mine.
It'll be
Now-
the first. It'll be the first
gonna
time. So
let you.
read out the spell, please.
An item you touch
You can go
glows
in.
with arcane light about as bright as a torch. It gives off no heat or no sound and requires no fuel, but it is otherwise like a mundane torch. You have complete control of the color of the flame. The spell lasts as long as it is in your presence.
There you go.
All right.
now we could send the druid in as a different animal, one that can the
See in
dark
the
doesn't
dark.
bother.
A naked mole rat.
Can't whales
bat.
use sonar?
Actually,
Yes.
would I have seen it?
So can dolphins.
You can be a
Echolocation.
whale.
There,
Go as a whale.
Actually, a bat's not a bad
whale.
Or a bat.
Bat's not a bad
A
idea.
flaming hell whale.
A bat.
A bat.
I'm going to be a bat named Bruce.
Ooh.
But bats see with echolocation, so you got to make noise. Do you want to do that?
Is it noise that humans can
Yeah,
hear?
but they're like bat noises.
I've heard bats squeak myself.
Yeah.
I mean,
Squeakers.
What has night vision that would be a mountain animal or a domestic animal
Any big cat.
that I would have seen?
Yeah, but I don't know if a cat would work because this is pitch black. You know,
it is. You guys went about 50 feet in, and it just turned.
You need
complete
something.
darkness.
You need something that doesn't need light.
Let's just light a torch, and
Let's do it.
We'll kick the crap out of whatever's in there.
All right, let's do
Okay.
it.
All right.
I mean, it may not be smart, but it's what we would do. Fritzy's got balls.
Like there's the
Fritzy's got
catchphrase.
balls.
The catchphrase for Adventures from the Shed. It may not be smart, but it's what we would do. It fits.
All right,
Roll
that beautiful bean footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be 10. So I take my light and my staff that has the bobble on the top, and I touch that, and the bobble lights up like.
Oh,
a
you
torch.
just Gandalfed it.
Yeah, I
Cool.
Gandalfed it.
Nice.
Now, did you sing this little light of mine?
Yes.
All right, so that's how the spell works.
Do you have to keep singing it for it to stay going? Because
No.
if you do, that'll
Just
get
have to
really annoying.
hum it or
I'll
whistle
just-
it or
just
something?
hum it.
It's going to be that song that's stuck in your head all day. All right, so you've got, and we're going to treat the light, the mundane torch size of the light radius is about 25 feet or so, a decent amount of space. So you enter, and as everybody's going in,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
and do you have an order? It's not as important as D&D, but it is important if something happens and you say, I want to do that, but you were in the back, it makes a
I
difference.
shall be first as the front
Okay.
line.
Okay.
Demaya would be last.
Okay.
And I'll be somewhere in the middle, so that
As
I
the
can
torchbearer.
hold it up and like
Yeah.
light
So that
our
there's shadows
area.
fore and aft.
Yeah.
I'll be wherever. Who's first again? Sorry.
Bow in mind.
That's what I
Wrong
thought.
dawn.
I'm going to be in the middle and focusing on keeping an eye out, up, looking up more than forward.
I guess I'm second then.
So you've probably been a bat before. You know things hang from the ceiling,
Dark places. I keep my eyes
Yeah.
up.
especially since the starter set.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we have that established. While you're walking in, after about 40 to 50 feet or so, it does change into a completely man-made structure now. The floor is stones set in the earth, and the walls are almost solid, like huge slabs of granite. This is like an elaborate place for the side of a hill. And after you proceed down, every bit is almost like a 45-degree turn. There are turns here and there, and it's almost like a maze, but only one way to go. So it doesn't branch off into different paths. After you travel for a minute or so, and you're gradually sloping down, you see that towards the end of this hallway that you're in, maybe about 50 feet ahead of you, the light just barely makes out that it just opens up. There isn't another turn. There isn't another 45-degree turn way at the edge of the dim light. So it just opens up it looks like it opens up into a big area.
A natural area or a man-made hall?
You're not close enough to tell at this point.
And we don't see any.
I halt there to see if anybody wants to investigate individually or everyone's just going to keep moving forward. That's really the pause.
Move forward as group.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So as you get closer, you see that it is also man-made. So the floor continues, but it's just wide open. And it's big enough that the light doesn't shine high enough to really see the ceiling. So the ceiling is way up there.
So it's like a great hall of some kind.
It looks like it. And the entire floor looks like think of a checkerboard or something. They're alternating colors of tiles in a checkered pattern throughout the entire floor, like a big mosaic.
Can we smell anything?
Pine.
That's me.
Okay.
His druid tell is that he smells of pine.
Okay.
So you can always smell a little bit of pine. As far as what is in the area, it actually smells very unlike what you might expect. It does not smell musty or dank or anything. It actually smells like you're just in a big building. It's just a neutral smell.
Do we see
if
any
you will.
torches on the wall or any flames of any kind?
No, the entire place stays. It seems almost barren.
So as far as we know, it's deserted.
It looks like it. And the room, the ceiling goes up higher than the light reaches, and the far walls are farther. So once you walk in and you're past where the entrance is, it's kind of like you're just standing in this globe of light in the middle of a huge room.
I want to suggest to the group that I transform into a bat to check out the ceiling, see if there is a ceiling, and if so, if there's anything we need to worry about up there.
And I would suggest to the group that we keep to one wall. That way we avoid anyone coming in from behind and surprising us.
Yeah.
What here is not what it appears to be.
Do you get to ask that for free? Or what do you
Well,
say?
it's a basic...
Well, there's a discern realities. And that is a plus wisdom roll. This is it's the catch-all, if you remember the D&D, the perception, the insight, that type of stuff. The discern realities is the catch-all for that.
So that can be done at any time?
Oh, yeah. Anytime.
Okay.
So if you read the beginning of that move...
Yeah.
Well, actually,
when you
just
closely
read
study
it out.
Okay, so when you closely study a situation, person, roll plus wisdom, and then on a plus 10, you ask the GM 3 questions from the list below. On a 7 through 9, you ask 1, and you take a plus 1 forward when reacting to the answers, or when acting the answers.
Yeah.
And we could all do that?
Anytime, anywhere.
Definitely.
Let's all do that right now.
Discern reality.
I like to say it as you're taking some time to figure out what's going on around you. And again, using the analogy of the D&D, you're only rolling perception when you're saying, well, there must be something here, so I'm going to roll perception to figure it out. Well, that means you're thinking that there must be something here, and that's what this does for you. Is there something else around here? You're looking, I mean, why are the tiles this way? Why can't we see this? Blah, 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 whatever. You're thinking all of these things. Discern realities helps figure it out for you.
All right.
And it's generally limited to the 6 questions that are there, but I don't have a problem slightly altering them so it makes more sense to what you want to ask.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it doesn't feel right to ask that question based on what you were looking for.
And just be careful about everybody asking it, because remember, every failure we roll fuels.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
I mean, the first failure here, the whole ceiling could collapse on you.
Well, I mean, I've got a good wisdom, so why don't I roll that before I go to a
Why don't you? Or we could let the person who thought of it first do it.
Yeah.
Let's make the barbarian do it.
Let's do it.
It's a wisdom roll too.
Let's do it.
So
This is not good.
really, it's just he's
-1.
the first one to stop and think, what go on here? Yeah.
Like, why are there tiles in this
Yeah,
place?
what's up with this? And
Yeah, it's
all
a
right. All right, so
Mark XP.
So because you just said the thing about tiles, what I'm going to say is Strong Dawn is taking the handle of his axe and he's just poking at tiles on the floor, and it's starting to make a louder noise that's starting to echo around throughout the whole place.
Stop it.
Who else?
I want to roll as well.
So you're going to do the same, okay? 8. So
Not a great roll.
On the Discern Realities roll, on a 7 to 10, you can ask one question from that list. That's
Sorry, I have
on
to
the
look at it because I don't know
right-hand
the
side
move.
in the middle.
For those of you listening at home, in case you're curious, the Discern Realities questions that they offer are what happened here recently, what is about to happen, what should I be on the lookout for, what here is useful or valuable to me, who's really in control here, what here is not as it appears to be.
And what here could I put my penis in?
That's also an option.
Well, that's on Chris's sheet. It's written
Okay,
in
I
there.
wrote that one.
Yeah.
I am going to ask, what should I be on the lookout for?
Okay. And a lot of these, like I say, the question may not be completely literal. It's going to be something along the same theme, though.
What is the threat? Is there a
addition to
proximate threat?
In addition to the thunking and echoing from the barbarian hitting the tiles on the floor, you hear another sound mixed in there that isn't part of that echo.
That's the bad people.
That's the bad people.
I'm going to go bat
What's in the
style.
box?
Which way are they coming from?
All right, let's roll.
What the
Yeah,
echoes?
Can I roll
Can I
to go
roll?
bat to go up?
Let's let Demaya get a shot.
This is a bad idea.
I
Nice.
got a bad
That's
feeling
a
about
5.
this.
You have a +1, right?
Her wisdom's a
Minus
-1. Okay.
The
Mark
wrong
XP.
one.
Okay. The extra noise in there is clearly the sound that the prodding feet of the dwarves outside would have made if they weren't trampling leaves and stuff on the ground.
Flip.
March, march,
Thud,
march,
thud,
march.
thud.
Something's coming this way.
Something wicked this way comes.
Who else wants to react to anything going on or take a
I
new
ain't
action?
doing shit.
No, I think we should keep moving.
I think we've done enough damage right here. We need to move somewhere else and do more damage.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
The idea of Shady becoming any kind of creature, is that gone now?
What's the downside to me being a bat and looking around with my sonar?
You're like vermin.
Someone could kill you with a tennis racket.
You didn't know that Fritzy got summoned tennis racket at second level. Yeah.
I'm going to do it because at this point I would not be highly reliant on what they.
By the way, in reality, in all seriousness, the downside is if you roll crappy. Right. That's all.
But I didn't because I rolled an 11.
Good gosh, man.
He just metamorphosizes very well.
9 plus 3.
So there's the bat.
You guys weren't here last week. Mike and I couldn't roll anything to say. It took us 2 hours to beat some skeletons with
yes. So you got that. You turned into
3 holds, and I'm using the holds simply to try to get any additional information about what's in the hall.
So we'll use a little bit of that right away. So go use up 1 hold, and what you can tell from there by your first, sonic attempt. The ceiling goes up. The ceiling goes up probably about 60 feet. So the gradual walk that you've done down for the whole time that you were walking, you would guess that the ceiling of this place is probably almost surface level. So it goes way up. And then the walls go out almost the same distance. So you're standing kind of like in this 25-foot light globe in the middle of a 100 by 100 by 100 cube. And there is indeed from 3 sides, the 3 sides opposite of where you came in. So say you came in the south side of the room from the north, east, and west. It looks like there is virtually an army of dwarves converging towards that light globe in the middle of the room. And by say virtually an army, think of a 100-foot wide room. How many dwarves could you fit in that room?
Okay. I'm going to haul ass back to the party and inform them of what I have just seen.
He's hauling bat ass?
I'm hauling bat ass.
He is such a badass.
Holy dwarven army, Batman.
Okay.
We got to get out of here.
Do you think?
Let's go for the exit.
That's the way you came in.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Going back out?
Mm-hmm.
Run for it.
Go run for
it. Okay. Well, I mean, you could just go the other way and we could put the light out and hide. Or if y'all want to, I'm just putting the option out there that we don't, because if we run and we leave, we're just going to have to come back in eventually.
And Shadrach knows that you have moments to decide.
All right, let's go. That's fine.
I think we should run.
That's all right, everybody said run. That's what we would do. That's everybody's first instinct.
Okay.
So that's what we would do.
So you guys head back out. And like I said, when you were coming in, there were no side tunnels. It was like you were walking through a maze with only one entrance, one exit. So you can't get lost on your way out. So you make your way back out in about 2 minutes or so.
So technically, isn't that a more defendable position rather than being in the middle of a giant room?
Yes.
I would say so, yeah.
So, but the problem is you might just be killing guys too deep, but you've got to kill them for
like
many 300 feet. Yeah,
when they stack up and block the whole hallway.
And you start getting tired, and I mean, you could do it. You could rotate shifts and all that stuff. That's how you do it.
Are there explosives in this world?
There are now.
We could take out the tunnel.
You don't have any, but since you've asked,
I have a fireball.
If somebody could have lit a keg and rolled it down there, but you sent the
fireball that whole room.
But also, let's remember that these are not necessarily evil dwarves. They're, as we think, enchanted dwarves, right? They're not undead. Do we want to kill 100 dwarves or however many dwarves are there?
If they're fighting for the bad guys and we are in danger of them, then I say we kill them. Now, if they're...
But we just went into their home.
But that's not our fault. Well, it is, but it's not. But but the other guy, like we got tied up, he's no longer a threat. He's just one guy. We can spare him, but you can't just not kill your enemies just because they're enchanted.
You did. I mean, 2 out of 3 dwarves have died.
Yeah, that's true. We did kill them.
Well, that's true.
And nobody surveyed them about sugarless gum.
No.
I mean, I'm rolling well, but I don't think I can roll well enough to kill 100 dwarves.
I bet you could. I'm willing to bet you could. But
no,
we're not, apparently we're not doing it. So you guys get back to the outside. It's still nice, bright daylight, still mid-morning. And once you got out and you stopped, catch your breath, you realize no sounds are coming from the tunnel that you came out of.
Is there another way in, or is this the only entrance?
This is the only one you know of at this point in time.
We could look for one.
Can we look for another way in?
We could dig. go.
Well, we think
the
the
top
top
and dig
of
down
the
into the
cavern. Exactly. We think the top of the cavern's just below surface level. Let's do a little spelunking.
Yeah.
Spelunking.
So we go to the top of the hill and dig down.
Spelunking from the outside.
Well, let's try to go like further.
Further out.
Maybe.
So somebody's going to try and figure out where.
Although we're going to let a
was.
shitload of sunlight into there.
Yeah, if I could use my intelligence to find where about that
That's what I'm
area
looking for
would be,
next. Yeah.
and we punched a big hole, I feel a lot better fighting 100 guys if I can see the 100 guys.
What if you just like stood up there and sniped?
Yeah.
I could also shoot fireballs.
We could
Yeah,
roll.
What I was
can't
thinking
catch
of
fire.
next, my thought, I'm waiting for you guys to see how you're going to handle it, but my thought was if somebody finds where that was on the outside, but as I had described it, it was like a maze, twisting, turning back in on itself. Somebody has to figure out where it was because you went in and then ran back out. So I would say nobody instinctively knows where the other part is. Somebody's going to have to roll to figure it out. Fritzy has volunteered his super intellect for this purpose.
Do it.
Do it. Do it.
Do
Oh
it.
my gosh.
That's a Kurt 11.
Yeah, you can keep my crappy dice away, apparently. Use those. All right, so 11, after a couple of minutes, you kind of think through, trying to remember a little bit where you were. Does Fritzy have anything like a photographic memory or anything like that might help him out in this? I'm
say
thinking
yes.
of a way to describe it.
I'm going to say yes. I think he does.
So as part of that...
And yet he can't remember whether he slept with Demaya or not.
That's a long photograph.
Once you have a lot of photographs,
Yeah.
You have to start first in, first out kind of thing.
Yeah.
After a few minutes, you do find the spot that you're pretty positive based on, I don't know, maybe you're walking around tapping the staff on the hardness in some spots of the ground, and the spot you reach, essentially it sounds almost hollow compared to other spots on the ground.
and I point that out.
And you're about, by the way, you're about a quarter mile from where you started. It was a lot of searching around. It takes a little bit.
I point that out to my friend Strong Down or Dawn.
Dawn.
Or
DAWN.
Strongbow. He
Just call him
and
Silver.
You're
have
soaking in
him
it.
point and say, if you hit right there, you could probably break through the ceiling.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Just because he says it, though. I mean,
Yeah, right. I'm going to look around and see if there's any like rocks, maybe like a good 50-pound rock or so, and try to do like a shot put.
Okay.
Like, go up and then down onto it.
All right. You got it. And that, I mean, to me, that makes it almost a dexterity move.
Have we thought about just looking for another entrance?
Yes, but then we decided to make one.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It started with, is there another entrance? And then it ended with, let's make one.
Because that's how we roll.
I was thinking we'd make one after
7.
we looked.
This doesn't sound smart, but we'll do it.
7.
7. Okay. So what that does is the rock goes up, hits the ground. I'll call it a semi-boulder because it's big enough. It hits the ground and goes through and leaves an opening about 1.5 feet wide, almost a circle the size of the rock, and the rock goes down into, and after a couple of seconds you hear it smash against the ground. Boom! Yeah. And when you look down by the angle of the sun, there's like one sunbeam that shines down into one spot of the room.
And what do we see?
You see the floor and a bunch of dust from that rock that kind of blew up when it hit the ground after a 100-foot drop.
Yeah, brilliant. So now what?
And it echoes for about, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
So now what do we do? Now we've got a hole in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
I could shoot a magic missile down there and light the whole thing up.
Light it all up.
See
what we see.
One of the things that I'm trying to do to help explain Dungeon World and how the GM works with the game too. Normally in Dungeon World, I'm not supposed to describe what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Right? I describe how it happens in the world. But just as a way to help you guys into the game, that 7 to 9 roll that JJ just had means that you got what you wanted, but there are complications. So if you had gotten the 10 plus, I would have made the hole probably near a wall so that someone could try and scale the wall down. But now there's just a hole in the middle of the room. So you got what you wanted, but there's a complication involved with it.
Kind of useless right now.
Right.
I got rope. You want to
We
go
could
down
rope
there?
that thing.
I'm not going down there. How about a giant fireball? Light it up, see what's in there.
All right.
go big or go home, right?
I don't understand the advantage of what we've done over having just walked in.
There is no advantage.
Well, see, the thing is now he can cast multiple fireballs and suck all the oxygen out of that room.
There's another option.
Well, yeah, and the only benefit I can see from the whole is when we go back in that room and we fight whatever we're going to have to fight because of the noise. At least we can see. Well, but that one stream of light from the top down.
Oh, is it lighting the room?
Well, I'm sure if you go into the dark room from below it, the light will be cast much wider. But from the outside looking in, you can only see that one spot.
Yeah, think Indiana Jones. Once that light hits down in the pit he's in, the pit lights up.
Okay.
But from the outside, you just see that.
Yes.
You're standing in the light, so the whole physics and pupils. And
the whole thing with the light and the guys and the stuff.
I mean, if you guys don't care about killing a bunch of dwarves, just drop a few fireballs down and then go in the front entrance. Toasty dwarves.
Do we even hear footsteps?
After the echoes die down from the boulder, there's nothing. You see nothing and hear nothing else.
That's what I'm saying. If there were over 100 dwarves in that room, we'd hear them. Mm-hmm. I mean, even if they were just breathing, we'd hear them.
Right.
So
they've gone back to where they were.
Either that, or they were ghosts, some kind of spell, a trap. Not really. It could be an illusion. I mean, it could be anything. Or they could be really 100 dwarves that just kind of said, fuck it, and back where it came from.
I'm a trap expert. Couldn't I tell from there?
Trappy trap.
If there's a trap.
You could go set traps.
Could I tell if what was in there? Because now we've looked in, we don't see the dwarves. We don't see anything. Mm-hmm. Could I now take a second and examine?
Yes, but what I'm going to say, because it's simple for me, they wouldn't have trapped the ceiling in case somebody threw a boulder in there. So checking for a trap where you are is almost irrelevant.
No, my point is I can see into the room.
Yep. Oh, so you want to see if there's something down there that you can...
Correct.
All right, go for that. Yes, please do.
All right, so how does that... Is it another roll?
So
I think we should lower her down on the rope.
Spend a moment surveying a dangerous area, and you already know this is a dangerous area.
Yes.
So you roll plus your dex.
So that's a 9 plus 2.
You got it.
11.
So on a 10 plus, you hold 3. Now, just like Kurt does with the druid, hold is currency. You spend it to get something.
Okay, so I can ask these questions.
Now, technically, it says spend this hold as you walk through the area, but I'm going to let you get away with a little bit more here. So you're not necessarily going to have to walk down through there. We're going to give you a little bit of information from up here.
I can see, kind of just poking my head in and looking around and taking a really good look, because before, adrenaline was rushing and I couldn't really get a good look at it. But now I want to know, is there a trap there, and if so, what activates it?
So from what you can tell, there are no actual traps. No. Nothing designed to catch somebody unaware.
So what else is hidden there?
As your eyes adapt to the light down there, you see around towards the edges of the room what look like... what's the right word? So some kind of ceremonial table, embalming table type of thing, maybe. It looks like it would be a place where bodies are prepared.
So we found a crypt, right? Or the equivalent of a funeral home.
Altar or something.
Altar, that's the word I was looking for. They look kind of, it's like death altars.
All right, so...
For lack of an actual good word for it.
So I share that with the party, that's what we've seen, or that's what I say. Now what?
Yeah.
No traps, no dwarves.
No traps, no dwarves.
And for that, the only reason that Shady would not have seen those was all the dwarves converging. Everything was... I'm thinking you're seeing it as echoes, right? So that stuff was there. Now she can actually see it.
Well, if you don't see anything, and our giant rock going through the ceiling hasn't brought any attention... Then I say we go back in there.
Oh, so we want to go back in?
I mean, what other choice do we have?
Do we want to go back in the way we started, or do we want to find another entrance, or do we want to lower a rope?
Does our adventuring gear have parachutes?
No.
Jetpacks, maybe?
I would not call a parachute mundane equipment.
Sure it is.
Only if you're a skydiver.
There's no reason to risk dropping down on the ropes if we can just go back. I mean, it's a quarter mile away, which is nothing. Just go back the way we came in before.
You can get back to the spot where the
it's
boulder landed in about 10 minutes
which
tops.
is nothing for a druid, but an obese elf is a different story.
I mean, he's not obese. He's
not
just
obese.
He's got
I'm
a
just
little
out of shape.
beer belly.
That's what he tells himself.
I also don't think that I could probably lower myself down on a rope.
Let's go back the way we came.
Okay.
In the interests of
Yeah.
progress, and have the wizard, Fritzy McFriddlebottoms, cast light if
Can't
he is
argue
able
with
and
that.
willing. And or do we need light for? We probably need light for the walk down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then.
Oh, don't we already have late going still?
Oh yeah, we probably still have it going. You're right.
Yeah, I don't think it has a time limit.
And then I think we should just get back to the hall as quickly as reasonably possible.
All right.
Anyone opposed?
I'm not opposed.
None opposed. Motion passes.
All right.
Motion carried.
Can we be back in the hall?
Doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. The bottom of that, Chris. So yeah, you guys are going to head back in, and we're getting close to wrapping this hour up. So that is the area where we're going to leave it. But what I'd like to do is let's take a few minutes and look at the end of session notes, and we'll do some wrap up with the characters here. So what we're going to do is at the top right, on the back, the special moves part, you have the end of session notes. At the end of session moves, sorry. When you reach the end of a session, the first thing it asks for is bonds. Now, we've established as a group here that we're going to put our bonds together probably for our next recording, so we're going to skip that part. But after that, look at your alignment. If you feel that you have fulfilled that alignment, then you get to mark an experience. And this is one that we can talk through. If you think, maybe I did, maybe I didn't, then we can figure it out together.
Who determines that? The group or?
Well, it starts with you. If
Okay.
you think you got it, it's really you. And then if I think, no, you're lying, then I'll say it. Like there's sometimes that it's just plain cheesy.
So initially, I would think that I got mine because mine is eliminate an unnatural menace. If it's the huge menace, then we have not. But we had an hour-long encounter, and I killed 3 or 4 things in it. So I would think undead things. I would think that.
I got one of the easy ones like the wizard. Mine is perform your art to aid someone else. That's pretty much all my guy does.
Yes.
That's all just play the flute and give
So
you
definitely.
bonuses and give you healing.
I would say definitely yes to both the druid and the bard. Yeah.
I think I
So
said
that'll
that.
level me up because that's 8.
Go ahead. Well, it won't level you up yet. It just gets you the experience to do it.
Okay.
We have to do a make camp
Yeah.
in order to do the level up
Okay.
or find a nice place to hole up.
And I think I got mine as well because
Okay.
mine says avoid detection or infiltrate a location.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll do.
You got
That'd be
behind
great.
enemy lines and dealt damage.
I did my little pump up dance
Okay.
that everyone kind of saw, and that would be a way of teaching someone the ways of my people.
Okay, so that's something you would do regularly, the flapping your arms
Yep.
and the chicken dance.
Basically, yeah.
Yes. The culture of my people is the chicken dance. And Fritzy.
Yeah, mine is to discover something about a magical mystery. And in a way, we sort of did because we discovered that they were taking people from the monastery. And also then we had dwarves controlling undead animals.
And
They
it's
were
part of some
speaking-
ancient ceremonies that are linked to the forgotten god.
Right.
Yes, I would agree to that. Yep. All right, so then after the alignment piece, what we do next is we answer these 3 questions as a group. And if we say yes to any of them, we get an experience. So first, did we learn something new and important about the world? I always say yes in the first session. We always learn something new and important about the world. So we get a yes for that.
So if we already got one, we get another one.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's one.
Each of these 3 questions, if we as a group say yes, everybody gets an experience.
So 1 point of experience for achieving an alignment.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then 1 because we learned something new and important about the world.
Okay.
The next is, did we overcome a notable monster or enemy? So far, I'm going to say no because none of these have been notable as far as the storyline goes.
I agree.
All right, so
Just sort of randos.
these are all generics.
Yep, I agree.
You haven't gotten to anybody notable yet. And then, did we loot a memorable treasure? I don't think we've looted anything yet. Now, when we do that one, when that one does come up, it doesn't necessarily mean like I looted the body and I found something cool. it can be more than that. It can be just finding something special in the woods that, Shadrach develops an affinity for or something like that. That can be a treasure. The treasure doesn't necessarily need to be gold or something that amounts to a certain amount of gold. All right. And then we have all of those. So that becomes our end of session.
Okay. So, now that that's done, Aglanor is going to gather all of you together before you decide to go back in there. And he's going to tell you that that what's going on here is very concerning to me.
So you're gonna go get more guys?
Well,
we're going to need a bigger
kind
boat.
of, yeah. I'm concerned with how much resistance we've already hit. So I have to, basically, I'm going to go search for more help, gather some more help, and also check on a few other fronts with this that are also resisting this evil that's spreading. You guys are the main push to actually find out what's going on, but there is obviously evil spreading in the world, and you are not the only ones affected by it.
You are my number one guy.
That's right. So, unfortunately, what that means is I got to go.
See ya.
But
Hey man, we're gonna miss you. But before you go,
you're like
can you
our
heal me some?
leader.
Can you heal me before you go?
One last hit.
Totally
Just
hit
play
you.
those pipes one more time, dude.
Well, if
Play
I
something
fail
sweet
though,
for me.
I can. Are you down?
Just down two.
Oh, you're fine.
Two.
No, it's not worth the risk. So yeah, you guys will be fine. You're a good group. You're strong. You've got this. You got this. Don't worry about it. You got. I mean, really, it's nothing.
I'm
Think
strong,
about
Don.
it. Okay, yeah, you're fine. Take care of Strong Dong for me.
God.
Take care of him for me. Watch out for him. Feed him curry if he gets angry. Three times a day.
Remember not to feed him after midnight.
Yeah, don't
Oh,
ever.
gosh.
do
Isn't
that.
it always after midnight?
No water.
Ever. So
I'm a gremlin. Oh,
Are we gonna see you again?
we'll see. Depends
We'll
on how
see.
this thing plays out.
See what the fates may hold.
So I'm gonna say peace like chicken grease, and I'm out.
Say hi to Belladin for me.
Is that an old saying?
Yeah.
Like chicken grease. Yeah,
It is.
yeah that's
It's an
about
old saying.
It's about a 2,000-year-old saying.
They used to kill chickens and put chicken grease crosses on your head as protection when you go off. So it's
That seems
peace,
like a weird
like
religion.
chicken grease.
He didn't say it was cool. It's just an old thing.
It's an old thing. Traditions are weird.
All right, so we're going to wrap this session up now, and an extra special thanks to Chris, our guest, for playing the Aglanor character during this beginning of our Dungeon World session.
It's been great. He's a super sweet character. I
He
totally
is.
like him.
It's fabulous.
Super sweet.
All right, everybody, we're going to sign out now. I want to say
Bye,
Thanks
everyone.
for listening.
Thanks for
Bye.
listening.
Enos.
Bye.
We finish this episode with our first end-of-session move, then bid a fond farewell to Aglanor as the bard heads off to fight this emerging evil on other fronts. Thanks again to special guest Chris for playing the part, and thanks for joining us. The preceding podcast was brought to you by Shedcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.